bases, oxidizers, a lot of chemistry type of trash, okay? The ones that have things, properties about them that don't mix well with garbage. Oxidizers especially, when oxidizers mix with wet garbage, it creates, anybody have any idea what might happen? What does it create?
Fire.
It can create fire. First it generates, maybe in a small enclosed area, generates a lot of heat. And the heat can heat up combustible material like paper, cardboard especially, because even though cardboard is pretty recyclable, right? People throw it away all the time. So that'll happen. We'll for real get real on fires over there because of that. So that's something for sure we want to make sure we handle properly. Enclosed containers like propane cylinders and even small aerosol containers, they have a propellant that's propane, usually, or butane that's flammable. Hold on just one second. I'm going to get your question. Just one second. And if their equipment runs over it, then we get an explosion, okay? And it can even be, then that can catch on fire. So that can be pretty bad. We have a question over here, though.
Oh, what if fires go too big that it burns the whole building?
Good question. It's happened. We've had fires that have gone all the way up to the roof in that building next door, and it happens really fast. Usually those happen not usually because of chemical reactions, but because actually combustible material is already on fire. Someone throws it away at home, especially in the hot time like this in the summer. Anybody have cookouts at home? When it's hot like this, your mom or dad doesn't want to turn the oven on, right? Inside the house, you might cook on the barbecue outside. People will sometimes put charcoal and burning material into paper bags, think that it's not hot. What's that?
Like fossil fuels?
Like fossil fuels, yeah, charcoal. Fossil fuels might be like the charcoal starter, so they might even have all of that stuff, and then they're like, oh, I'm done with it. It's, I'm not going to catch on fire. They put it in the trash. Then the garbage truck comes, compacts it down, and there's not very much oxygen present, so it just smolders. They don't know it's on fire. Comes here, the garbage truck pushes it out. Now a lot of oxygen hits it. The fire gets really big. When it's really dry and hot like this, the trash is really dry. It's really dry and dusty over there. And I've seen it with my own eyes coming out of the doors of that building. Everybody had to be evacuated. We called the fire department. They come in, they just deluge with water to put it out. So those are things that can happen. Your question first.
Do things that say flammable on containers, are they like hazardous waste?
Absolutely. Yep. Flammable is, when it says flammable, that means it has its flash point is less than 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's actually a really good question. That was defined. That definition of that word legally was defined because, do you know the hottest temperature that we experience on the planet Earth? It's 140 degrees. That some smart people a long time ago decided that that was the hottest temperature that we might see on planet Earth. So if materials are going to flash at a higher temperature than that, then you don't have to worry about them. If it's below that, then that's what makes it flammable. 140, yeah.
What if the fire of the building and destroy the other buildings like flames?
That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? That's why we're here.
Did that ever happen?
No. That building it shut down for the rest of the day, but that was the biggest fire that I think ever happened in that building. The one I described. It was shut down for the rest of the day because now there was about this much water in the building. We had to clean it all up. So as soon as the fire department put it all out, guys like Corey, wherever he went, there he is. Smarty stayed in the shade. Had to come back through and clean it up. So it was a lot of wet waste after that. Yeah, you guys are smart getting in the shade. So what we do is actually we talk to the public a lot, because what we want to do is educate people like you all, because you're smart and you can make changes at home. Hold on just 1 second. Because you can go home and you tell your mom and dad what you learned when you went to the transfer station and you make a change, right? If they're like, oh, resistant, then you know it in your head, and then as you grow up, then that change happens. So we talk to the public a lot. When people come in, we ask them a lot of questions. Where did you get this stuff? Do you want to get rid of it? Do you want to learn ways so that you can not purchase more pesticides or more flammable materials? Do you want to learn about safer ways to paint your home, to take care of your yard, things like that? So it's we have twofold purpose. One is get rid of the stuff and do it properly. And the other is talk to people. and help them make changes in their life if they're ready to change.
What about medicines?
Good question. Yeah. We take all kinds of stuff, including medicines, things that shouldn't be thrown away in the regular trash. So there's a lot of rules that involve medicines that you might have at home. There's things that are called controlled substances that you might be prescribed by a doctor if you're really, really sick or end of life. Something that's called palliative care. It makes you feel better if you're really sick. And those kinds of medicines have to go back to the police department. Or the pharmacy, because you have to be licensed to handle them, things like morphine, Vicodin, things like that. And then there's a lot of other kinds of drugs, antibiotics, and all kinds of other things that shouldn't go into the regular trash, but certainly shouldn't get flushed down the toilet. That's the worst thing that you can do with medicines is flush them down the toilet, because yeah, that's bad. What happens is it goes to the water treatment plant, but the water treatment plants can only handle things on a macro scale, bigger things, right? Those medicines can be present in the micro scale, down to parts per billion, even more, like even detectable below that. And what happens is then those waters eventually, after stages of treatment, are discharged back out to the rivers, and very small amounts of those medicines are left. They can actually, it's caused a shift, especially it's toxic to the fish in aquatic life. So yeah. Medicines at home, take them out of their original containers if there's names and addresses on them, into plastic bags, bring it into us, mix it with some paint or coffee grounds, you can bring it into us and throw it in the regular trash that way, once it's all bound up. Another question there? Sorry, bud.
How do you throw away alcohol and cigarettes and all those kinds of things?
Okay. Different ways. Alcohol, if you don't, mostly people use it up, but if you don't, if it's there, and we do see it sometimes in bottles.
He doesn't see even.
No, good. It's flammable. It's actually flammable. So we do see bottles, old bottles of alcohol come in. People are cleaning out for their parents or grandparents. Cigarettes are okay in the regular trash. They actually contain nicotine, which is very, very poisonous, but it's okay in the regular trash. You have been so patient, my friend.
How does heat turn into fire?
Oh boy, that's a pretty complicated question. Good question. Oh wow. The chemistry of fire. You know, people spend their whole life studying fire. That's a great one. Maybe you should do a research project on that. But in terms of what happens in our world, when oxidizers mix together with water, they can release some heat. So that heat builds, especially in a small and enclosed area, and it gets hot enough, then it causes a combustible material like paper. Paper burns at 451 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll catch on fire. So if it can build up enough heat, then it'll catch on fire.
Yeah, but water is stronger than fires.
Right, but a little water releases that chemical potential of that oxidizer. Yeah, it's just right. It has to be just right. It's almost like cooking. And chemistry is like cooking. It has to be the right amount of water to get that right amount of heat to cause that combustion to occur. Too much water, right? The firefighters put the fire out with water, right? So they're deluging it. They're adding a lot of water and they're taking that energy away. Because water takes a lot of heat to heat up water. So if you put a whole lot of water on something, it basically saps that heat. You know, if your body is 98 degrees Fahrenheit and then you get really wet, you get really cooled off. So it takes a lot of energy to cool you down.
What happens to the medicines and the paint comes here? What happens to that?
Good question. We have a lot of different waste streams. Latex paint gets recycled. We operate a latex paint recycling program on Swan Island, and all of the latex paint actually for the entire state of Oregon goes through that program. And each container gets opened, mixed, checked for color, checked for quality, sorted into 16 different colors.
Container?
Every individual container.
That's
a lot of work. With cages like that all day long, we send a full semi-truck once or twice a week. That's just from this site. We operate a roundup collection program. We go out to the community. You may have seen us. In the communities, we collect cages and cages of paint like this. And each one, I'll give you guys, if anybody would like a coupon for buy one, get one free for paint, it actually has a disposal, $5 off. We'll give you one of those before you go. Another question?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll finish too.
Thank you.
So if you mix paint, what if you don't get any of those hands, and if you get more paint, what should you do?
If you don't, like, you have too much paint to fit back into one of those
Yeah.
containers,
Yeah.
well,
Get any more paint.
well, you gotta, had to come out of something. So get it back into whatever you had it in, put the lid on and mark it as paint. That's the best thing.
Excuse me, hold on.
Yeah.
I hate to see you standing in the sun. I mean, if you can stand here and answer the questions.
Oh, I could, but I'm fine.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
I
though.
appreciate it. Thank
yeah.
you.
Uh-huh.
What about like when you throw away medicines, when you throw away do they both go to landfills or where does the
Great question. This guy over here basically, he totally summarized his question. You did a really nice job. So what we do with all the stuff that comes here, we sort into a whole lot of different categories. We call it waste streams because it's like a big river of trash, and then we got to figure out the right place for it to go. So it breaks into different waste streams. With the medicines, we actually treat them like other poisons and pesticides. So things that you might see at Fred Meyer to put on your garden, like if you have bugs on your blackberries or on your your apples, it's poisonous to those creatures, those pests. So we treat medicines that way too, because too much of a medicine is actually a poison. So they get put into drums and they go into either they go for incineration or they go to a hazardous waste landfill. They go to a special place, not with all the rest of the trash. Good question.
What if the fish eat the garbage?
Yeah, they would be a crazy fish. Well, it's important that you manage your garbage carefully, right? Yeah, don't leave it laying around. Don't throw it in the river. Make sure it goes into your garbage can and it comes here to get either recycled or disposed of. Yeah. All right. Yeah, buddy.
So what if birds and other animals come into the special landfill and eat?
You know, that's a good question. I just went on a tour up in Washington. Here we have a lot of, at the transfer station, we get a lot of seagulls and pigeons sometimes that come, and they do eat a lot of trash. And I was really surprised. I was up in Washington near Seattle, and for real, there were eagles, bald eagles, which is the bird of our country, eating trash, just waiting and waiting. And it said 15 years ago the eagles would line up and wait for field mice. And when they were moving garbage, mice would run out and they would grab the mice, and over the last 15 years they stopped. Well, they'll still eat the mice and they'll go crazy for it, but they started eating garbage. I kind of wonder what's going to happen over time to those birds. Is that I think it's going to start affecting them. You know, some garbage like food waste, it's just food, but then other things get spoiled, and plastic bottles, that'd be terrible. Small pieces of plastic could get stuck inside them. I wonder that too. So
Pretty much die.
they might, yes, especially plastic bags.
What if the food waste and some poisonous thing mix together and
Yeah, it'd probably make them sick, right?
what if they don't get sick?
That's an open landfill. I don't know. Here, it's conjecture. What's that? That's when you're just wondering things. Conjecture is when you're wondering.
How do you keep flies away?
Yeah, we don't. We tried. It's terrible. Yeah, we don't. Over there, it's really bad. But I don't know if you can see it behind that bush. We're trying to capture some flies. It's really gross. It's a bag, and it's this thick, this full of flies right now. So we're trying to capture them. I know it's really gross. It's a trap. They fly in, they can't fly out. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it when it's all gone, when it's all full. But I think Corey's gonna help us get rid of it, make it go away in the
I
trash.
catch it.
Yeah, it's a bag of liquid. I don't know what it is, but the flies want to be there. Hold on just one second. This guy's got a question.
Why do you have to capture
Well, yeah, see, they hang around here and then they fly around and it's really gross. So we thought we would try to capture them. I'm not convinced that it doesn't just encourage more to come. I kind of want to wait and see on this fly catching business at the transfer station. Could just be, might not work, but we're going to give it a try.
Is that the fly thing?
Yeah, that thing that's hanging over there.
that red?
Maybe I'll go get it because I don't want you guys all walking across my driveway. I'm gonna go get it and see if I can bring it over here and show it to you. It seems pretty pretty gross, but I think you might like it. Wait here, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna bring it over for you to see.
നമ്മളെ തോട്ടത്തിൽ വെക്കാൻ പറ്റും.
Yeah, it's gross.
മണ്ണ് ഷെപ്പ് അനാ നമ്മളെ ഗാർഡനിലില്ലേ
And it smells
full of
terrible.
flies.
That's a lot of flies.
That's a lot of flies, yeah.
Take it home.
No.
And why is a good
I
question.
would. No, but like, how can they not get out?
There's a trap. They go in. They don't really.
They cannot come out.
And they don't come out. I don't know how they go in and don't come out, honestly.
I think I know. There's flies.
Small holes. I'm gonna go put it back since things.
I think they die of food. They don't have enough food. Oh yeah.
മാവിൻ്റെ മാവ് ചീറ്റാകുന്നതിന് ഇത് വെച്ചോളൂ അല്ലേ അവിടെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ
Right. What do you do with fluorescent lights in your house? Do you have any compact fluorescent lights? Those little curly Q lights like this? Let me show you one. What do you do with these? What do you do with them when they don't work anymore?
Throw them in the trash.
No.
No, that's
No.
bad.
No.
Home Depot. Home Depot.
Home Depot, Home Depot.
Home Depot or here. Do you know what's in them?
Mercury.
That's right. Good job. That's right.
Yeah, not the planet.
Not the planet.
The red thing. The red rock.
The planet you mean is red.
No, the red thing. Something with
Silver.
this point.
Quicksilver. Silver liquid. Looks like liquid metal. Yep. There's a teeny tiny drop of liquid mercury in a fluorescent light.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I know, because it's a gas. It's actually,
I need the planet mercury.
no, you're silly. The pressure is controlled in here to keep the mercury in a gaseous form. Makes the light.
How does that stay inside?
It's sealed. Yeah. So don't throw these around, and if you do want to bring them to us, a lot of people save because a lot of people don't really, hold on a second, a lot of people don't have a lot of paint and other things, but almost every home collects compact fluorescents and alkaline batteries to bring to us. So many smart people put them together in the same container, and what do you think happens? Doesn't burn.
Makes more lights.
Makes the gas come out. That's right, because it breaks the glass.
I thought make a sun.
So don't mix them together. If you have batteries at home, who has things with batteries? I bet your robots have batteries, right? A lot of them. Do you do Lego robots? Did you say?
Yeah.
Is it that one? I forget what it's. My son is. He's quite a bit older than you guys. Yeah, Mindstorm, the old one. Yeah, he did that. So a lot of batteries, right? AA batteries all day long. Big packages of them. Don't mix them together with your compact fluorescents, okay? Because they'll break. Over here.
How does it like put mercury inside? Like put it on.
It's in the manufacturing process. That's a good question. I don't know how they make it. I'm sure gas, they probably pressurize the mercury into a gas and then they fill the tubes. There's also phosphorus that makes it white and then it's sealed. But I have not seen them be manufactured, so I'm not really sure. I've seen them be demanufactured, which means taken apart. They actually take this part, it's by hand. A lot of this work is by hand. And this bottom part has electronics in it. There's a small electronic ballast. They actually demanufacture this by hand, recycle the electronics that are in the base, and then run this through a giant crusher. And it breaks out the glass, the phosphorus, and collects the mercury.
What happens if you put the light in the trash?
Releases the mercury in your home or here in the transfer station. Good question. It goes to what's called a retort, which is basically what it does is it heats the gas up and then it collects it at a cooler temperature and reliquefies the mercury. It cleans it as well. They collect that and send it back through the manufacturing process. It's basically recycling. A retort uses heat to purify and then cools it to capture the gas.
Does it gas?
You know, let's just stay up here. My friend there is gonna get that car. It probably it could not kill you, but over time, repeated doses.
Would you be able to go to the doctor? Get to go to the doctor?
You know, people that work around it all day long could get sick enough to have to go to the doctor. Probably not in your home over time, but it's very toxic, especially in young people because their bodies have a lot of fat. Mercury collects in your fat, so babies and nursing mothers are especially susceptible. You got to watch the sharp pencil right by your eye, my friend. Yeah, because it collects in their bodies at a higher concentration.
So how do you detect if people accidentally discard the, paint or hazardous materials as part of the trash? You guys don't typically open the trash bag, right?
Yeah. So what happens over there in the transfer station, if the garbage truck that probably comes to most of your homes is a compacting rear loader or side loader,
right.
Compacted trash generally goes as is not typically opened and inspected. If they see a lot of paint cans in a load like that, they will go after it and make sure that there's other materials in there that won't cause a problem. Drop boxes go through the sort line. Did you get to see the sort line? Not yet. Okay, so the sort line's really cool. And open, loose garbage like that will go through the sort line process. And one of these, we call this a tote, this guy right here. And the folks that do the Has Waste end over for Recology bring us between a half a tote and 2 totes a day. You know, if it's really busy over there, they might fill up a tote pretty quickly. A few 100 pounds per day of hazardous waste comes back over here. It's changed a lot. I've been doing this for 24 years, and when I started, it was a lot of hazardous waste in the trash. People either didn't know or there was no real good options for them. But now that we're really accessible, we come out 30 weekends a year. We're in the communities, plus we're open 6 days a week, 2 sites. And people like all these kids have grown up to know that it's not okay to throw materials like that in the trash anymore. So it's gone down. The amount of stuff that is abandoned, we call it, in the regular trash has really dropped off. Now, not to say that folks do willingly try to hide it. Businesses will try to hide it. Haulers will try to hide it because it's either inconvenient, costs more money for them to bring to us. We're really pretty cheap. We're $5 per 35 gallons for households over here. So we want to keep it very accessible.
When did you start working here?
1991. Yeah. Long, way before you guys were born.
Yeah.
What about cooking oil? Is there a special procedure for that, or does it just go to landfill?
It should come here. We treat it as a liquid waste, so it should come to us.
But there is no collection places, or we cannot recycle it in our curbside recycling.
That's right. That's right. It's got to come either to one of Metro's collection programs. Here, I don't know of other options, but I'll give you a magnet you could call the Recycling Information Center. There was a while that folks were collecting it for biodiesel, and I think that there were other drop-off locations. It's a changing market. All the recyclables are a changing market, so it's hard to tell where things can go on a long-term basis. But it's well worth